everyone. Welcome back to the K-pop channel Moment. BTS Jin. It feels awkward without them. 30 touching and dramatic paragraphs about the worldwide handsome's loneliness. Amidst the dazzling lights of the Osaka Dome, Jin stood alone. Thousands of fans cheered his name, but behind his smile and singing voice, there was an emptiness in his heart that couldn't be hidden. After completing the first day of his solo concert, titled Run Seokjin _EP.tour, Jin greeted his fans via a live broadcast on Weverse. As usual, he started with light-hearted jokes about ramen, eggs, and how rich he was for being able to use 2 eggs. But beneath the laughter, the atmosphere began to change when a question about BTS arose. A simple question, yet one that sparked deep emotion. How are the other members? Jin smiled briefly, then looked at the screen, as if wanting to see their faces behind the camera. Our members? I'm sure they're all fine. Wherever they are, they're doing their best, he replied quietly. There was a moment of silence after that, as if everyone watching could sense the emotional ripples behind his words. Jin stared blankly to the side before continuing. If you ask me if I've gotten used to performing alone, the answer is no. It still feels very awkward. I miss them. I miss standing as 7. In BTS's more than decade-long journey, the stage has never felt empty. But that night, in Osaka, Jin realized how much space his 6 friends had left. For the past 13 or 14 years, we've been together. For over 10 years, we've been standing together on stage. So, when they're not here with me, it feels strange, he said, his voice starting to crack. To the audience, the concert seemed perfect. Jin sang, danced, joked, and gave his all. But only he knew how lonely it felt to stand alone in a crowd. Sometimes I reflexively look to the side, he said with a chuckle. It's a habit to look at Jimin or hear Taeyong's voice. But all there is empty air. Fans watching the live broadcast from around the world were also touched. Comments on Weverse were flooded with crying emojis and expressions of longing for the full BTS lineup. Jin covered part of his face with his hand, as if hiding his emotions. But his eyes welled up, and silence fell again. They're not just coworkers. They're part of my soul, he said. We grew together. We fell together. We won together. It's not easy performing alone after all that. Amidst the laughter and jokes, fans could glimpse a small wound that hadn't fully healed in Jin's heart. The wound of a temporary separation, of time creating distance. But Jin remained professional. On stage, he put on a top-notch performance. Little did anyone know that deep down, he longed to shout, Hyung misses you guys. These days, solo concerts aren't just about showcasing talent, but it's also about facing loneliness, about standing strong without the support that's usually always there on your right and left. During the broadcast, Jin also hinted at the hope of a reunion. I know you're all waiting for it. So am I. We'll be back as a team. And that hope soon became a reality. On July 1st, BTS finally reunited for the first time since completing their respective military service. The moment was incredibly emotional. The released video showed hugs, laughter, and even a few tears. Jin appeared to be the most emotional at seeing the other 6 members reunited. During the event, BTS announced something they've been eagerly anticipating. They would be releasing a new album in the spring of 2026. Not just any album, but their first full-length album in 7 years. This news immediately rocked the entertainment world. Fans cried with emotion. Even many new generation idols expressed their joy at the return of these legends. But preparations for the album wouldn't take place in Korea. For the next 2 months, BTS will reportedly be staying in the United States to participate in a songwriting camp with top global producers. RM, Suga, Jimin, Jungkook, and Taeyong are currently in Los Angeles. J-Hope will join them after headlining Lollapalooza. As for Jin, he will finish his solo tour first, which runs until August, before returning to America to be part of his team's creative process. It feels like I'm slowly coming home, Jin said. Those words seemed like a bright spot in the midst of a long journey filled with longing. Jin hadn't lost his way. He was simply waiting for the time to return to being part of those 7 shining stars. Many say Jin's maturity shines through in the way he expresses his longing. He doesn't trivialize his feelings, but he doesn't view them as a weakness either. Amidst the cheers of fans and the glamour of the stage, Jin demonstrated that true stars don't just shine alone, but know when to long for the sky they came from. Fans await the day when Jin no longer needs to look to the side and find emptiness, but instead look back at the six figures who have accompanied him for years. And until that day comes, they will continue to wait, with love, with hope, and with hearts that share a longing for the full BTS lineup, where Jin isn't just a solo singer, but part of the seven legends known as Bangtan Sonyeondan. In the weeks following the livestream, many fans began resharing old BTS moments, especially behind-the-scenes videos of Jin and the other members joking around in waiting rooms, laughing during choreography practice, or teasing each other on their variety shows. One video that went viral again was of Jin hugging Jungkook after their first stadium concert, a moment that showcased their closeness not just as colleagues, but as family. "That's the same hug I want to give you now," wrote one fan, echoing Jin's sentiments. Taeyong, via his Instagram story, also expressed his longing. He posted an old photo with Jin with the short caption, "Hyung, come back soon." The small interaction immediately made ARMYs burst with hope, a sign that their bond remains unshakable. Jimin, in an interview promoting his latest headphones, also mentioned Jin with respect and longing. "We're proud of our Hyung. He's strong, but I know he must feel lonely too." Moments like these show that, even though they're temporarily apart for solo careers, their hearts remain connected. None of them are truly used to walking alone. When fans asked about BTS's full comeback, Jin replied, "Please wait a little longer. We want to give you something truly worth waiting for." The words were a sweet promise, filled with hope and a hint of guilt. Behind all the glamour of the international stage and global popularity, Jin still showed his human side. A man who missed his friends, someone who felt lost when they no longer shared the spotlight. Many ARMYs reported that Jin's Weverse broadcast was one of the most emotional they had ever witnessed. Usually he's funny and jokes around a lot, but this time, his words felt like they pierced their hearts, wrote one fan from Brazil. "We can dance, sing, and laugh with him, but we never knew how hard it was to perform alone after being used to sharing the stage," added another fan from South Korea. Even Korean and international media outlets highlighted Jin's emotional honesty in the broadcast, calling it the humility of a superstar and a rare honesty in an industry that always demands perfection. Jin, in the midst of a solo tour, proves that courage doesn't always mean putting on a full-throttle performance. Sometimes, courage is about admitting longing and showing unabashed sincerity. Many fans hope that when Jin joins the other members in America, they will release a kind of vlog documentary of their creative process, showcasing a warm reunion after so long apart. Many are dreaming of the return of a variety show like Run BTS, where they can once again be seen unscripted, being their innocent, funny, and loving selves. And in the midst of that wait, fans continue to rewatch Jin's concerts, listen to his solo songs, and write affectionate digital letters that convey one central message. "We know you're strong, but you're not alone." Because no matter how far they go, and no matter how big the world they explore, BTS will always return to one central point, the friendship that binds them together beyond just a band. And Jin,